Hey guys, Chris Anderson, Pursuit Hunting. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Speedy Stitcher to make repairs in outdoor gear. I've got a pair of coveralls here that I've had for many years. You can probably tell by the pattern. It's probably a 10-year-old pattern, mossy oak tree stand. And by the way, these are actually mossy oak manufactured coveralls. I think mossy oak, soon after they made these coveralls, decided they just wanted to sell the patterns to their camouflage, probably make a lot more money doing that than actually selling products. But this was a pair of coveralls that were manufactured by Mossy Oak, and I really like them. They're very warm. As I say, they're 10 years old. I've worn them hard. I've used them a lot, and for the most part, they've held up, except for where I've really abused them and torn them. And I decided I was going to try to use my Speedy Stitcher in a little different way than what it's normally used for, to try to patch or repair a tear in these coveralls. This had a big L-shaped tear in it, and I came up with a way. Maybe others have done it before, but it's new to me. I came up with a way to use the Speedy Stitcher to go back and forth across the tear, so that I not only pull it together, but I'm also holding down all the loose fibers in the tear so that they don't come loose again. It's probably not the prettiest repair. Anybody who is good at sewing would probably look at that and go, what a mess. But hey, whatever works. And I got to play with my Speedy Stitcher, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and I'm not going to go through all the basics of how it's used. If you're not familiar with it, go back and check out my reviews. There's a demonstration that shows how to use it. And the normal stitch, which is used normally to join two flat pieces of material like this webbing here. You sew through it and sew it flat. So I'm going to use it in a little bit different way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to repair a hole, and you can see this is just a really small hole, and I probably wouldn't mess with it if I wasn't going to show you, or wasn't going to use it for a demonstration. But I'm going to show you the technique that I came up with to pinch the two sides of this together and stitch over the top here to seal it up, and when it's done, I guarantee you this repair is going to be stronger than any other part of the coveralls here. So just like any other type of stitch with the Speedy Stitcher sewing awl here, you need to pull enough thread out through the needle to basically do 2 or 3 times the length of the sewing job, and probably a little bit more than that, since I'm going to be using more thread going back and forth. So like this, as you can see, I'm using the curved needle. I normally use the flat needle when I'm just joining two pieces of material flat together like this, but this curved needle is going to help me because as you're going to see, I'm going to go back and forth through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on one side of this tear. I'm going to go in, I'm going to come back out the other side, and then I'm going to pull the loose end of my thread through. Okay, now normally with a normal Speedy Stitcher stitch, I would pull this out, and I'd go back in the same side that I went in on my original stitch. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back across, pull out a little more thread so I've got something to work with here. And I'm going to come back in on the side opposite where I went in originally. And I'm going to come back through, push it through, make my loop, just like that. Then I'm going to take the free end here, I'm going to put it through the loop, just like that. And you can see I've made a little crisscross over the top. So for my next stitch, I'm going to come back across to this. So basically you're going in on the same side that your free end is sticking out. So I'm going to come back over here, go in this way, back out the other side, make my loop, cross this end over the tear and through the loop. Pull it tight. Now you can see I've got 2 across there, 2 stitches. Come back through here. the loop. Now you can see I've got 3 little X stitches there. That hole's completely sewn up. So now what I'm going to do is, just to tie this off, I'm going to pull some thread out. I'm going to come back through. Now I'm not going to come back in like I've been doing with this stitching. I'm going to go like I was doing a traditional Speedy Stitcher stitch. I'm going to come in from this side, push it through, get my thread out. Now I'm going to, where you want to cut, what I'm doing is I'm getting 2 ends I'm going to tie here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right up next to the needle. I'm going to pull my needle out. I'm going to make a square knot. I'm going to go left over right, pull it tight, right over left, pull it tight, trim those ends. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch or so on the ends. I'm going to take a match. I'm going to melt those ends down to where it locks that knot. Won't come untied. Well, you get the idea. And there you have it. It's a small repair. Obviously, probably wouldn't mess with that otherwise, but I guarantee you that tear won't spread now. Speedy Stitcher Sewing All, great little tool to have in your outdoorsman's toolkit. Can repair all sorts of things, can make gear with it. It's probably one of the handiest little tools an outdoorsman can have. I'll zoom out here so that you get a good view of it. And just a neat little tool. And like I said, in my reviews, I've probably saved 50 times what I spent on this in being able to keep gear serviceable and not have to throw it away when something tears. Hope that helps you, and happy sewing. And if anybody else has any suggestions on other ways to use it, I'd love to hear them. Just leave me a comment on the website and we'll try to get those out, get some good information shared so that everybody can take advantage of it. Chris Anderson, Pursuit Hunting, with another Outdoorsman Toolkit quick tip.